Hey, this is Chris Phillips here again to do yet another video review, this time of FlatOut 2, developed by Bugbear Entertainment and published by Vivendi Games and Empire Interactive on the Xbox, PlayStation 2, and PC. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the FlatOut series, it's a kind of combination derby racing game, really over the top, with a lot of destructible environments, and of course, the ragdoll physics on the drivers. Even though a lot of those things, like the drivers ejecting out the windshield, have been toned down a little bit in the racing part of FlatOut 2, there's still a lot of cool stuff here, and overall, everything's bigger and better, and it leads to some great racing experience in FlatOut 2, if you're into the over-the-top racing games. This time around in FlatOut 2, they divided the career mode into 3 separate parts: Derby, Race, and Street. Although these are all still racing careers, they influence the type of cars that you'll see in this game. In the original FlatOut, it seemed like every car would have been put in the Derby class of FlatOut 2. That being said, you're seeing a little bit more variety in the type of cars you actually see in FlatOut 2 compared to the original FlatOut. There's a lot more street cars, a lot of more muscle cars, a little more compact cars, but I have to note that none of these cars are actually licensed real-life cars. The fact of the matter is, you're never going to see a licensed real car in a game like FlatOut. Aside from FlatOut 2 adding some varieties in the cars you'll be using, it also adds a little more variety in the actual environments you'll be racing in. There's some more urban street environments in FlatOut 2 compared to the original FlatOut, and all the original environments in the original FlatOut are here in FlatOut 2, with the exception of the snow environments, and it's a very big disappointment in my book to not see those snow environments here in FlatOut 2. So in FlatOut 2, each class is divided up into 2 types of races: a cup race or an event. A cup race is a series of anywhere from 3 to 6 races on different environments, where first place will get you 10 points, second place will get you 8 points, and so on. And the person who has the most points at the end of the cup wins the cup and wins some money that he can use to upgrade his car, buy new parts, or either buy a new car so he can go participate in the other cups. And then the events are either the crazy races like the Figure 8 and Crash Alley, which are returning from the original FlatOut, the Destruction Derbies, or even the more crazy famous Minigames, which we'll get to those later on in the review. So once you actually get into the game and start racing, you're going to notice 2 things. That A, there are a heck of a lot more things destructible in the environment, and B, the AI is extremely aggressive as compared to last year's version of the game. This leads to a lot of chaos on the raceway, and what puts this in my book as one of the more funner racing games I've ever played, simply because once that green flag drops, I have no clue what's going to happen. You never know what the track or the AI is going to throw at you. That can also be extremely frustrating, because you could be running a perfect race and all of a sudden you hit a barrel and you flip into the air and you're out of the race and you finish in last place. Luckily, the load times in the races are extremely short and the restarts are pretty much instantaneous, so that kind of dims down the frustration level a little bit in the game. Now, the Demolition Derby has been changed a little bit since last year. Last year it was pretty much just whoever's the last man standing won the Destruction Derby. It's been changed to a point system. So once you hit a car, you get a certain amount of points, and the object of the Destruction Derby is to have the most points after the last car is left standing. You get points for hitting a car, destroying a car, or surviving. So while you want to survive to be that last car, if you don't score enough points, if you're kind of hanging around along the outside without hitting anyone, you're not going to score enough points to win the Destruction Derby. So you're probably going to end up being 6th or 7th, even though you were the last car left standing. Also, this time around, they've added a contact timer to the Destruction Derby. You have 45 seconds to make contact with another car. If you cannot do that, it's almost like a shot clock. If you can't do it, you're immediately disqualified from the Destruction Derby. This prevents people from sitting along the outside and not playing in the Destruction Derby and waiting for like 4 or 5 cars to be left before they actually start playing. And because the environments are so small, it's very difficult to actually not hit a car in 45 seconds, so I've rarely ever been disqualified for not hitting a car within that time limit. Now, onto the mini games, the stunt mode. There are 12 mini games to choose from, each one is available to be played as a single stunt right out of the box. So, you don't have to go through the career mode to unlock these games. You can play them all right out of the box. The 12 modes are high jump, bowling, ski jump, curling, stone skipping, ring of fire, field goal, royal flush, basketball, darts, baseball, and soccer. I can tell you that all these mini games are fun, but with 12 of them, you're going to find games that you love, and you're going to find some mini games that you don't like. So there's enough mini games that you're going to find the one that's right for you, or you're going to find the 3 or 4 that are right for you. For me personally, curling, ring of fire, field goal, royal flush, basketball, and soccer were my favorite ones. The ones I didn't like so much, stone skipping, I didn't like darts because they kind of forced you to attack the zone that they designated you to attack, and it was seemingly random. I didn't like high jump. I thought they could have kept it the way it was, and I didn't like ski jump. But there's enough of these games that you're going to find the ones that you like, and there's going to be ones that you don't like. It's just inevitable. Moving on to the online mode of FlatOut 2, I feel that everything's been a little more streamlined. It's very easy to find the kind of match you're looking for. The only problem is, the only match you can find on Xbox Live is Destruction Derby, and the only people that are inhabiting those games are 12-year-olds. I'm going to fault the community again, but it kind of ruined my experience when playing the game online. The Destruction Derby is fun, but I don't want to sit through their Care Bear and 12-year-old mind-numbing conversations. It's just, I can't do it anymore. I have to play the game with my mic off and the volume turned down so I don't have to hear them. However, if you can find a race online and you can find people that are fairly competent to play the game with, this is extremely fun to play. I mean, there's nothing better than FlatOut 2 with some competent people, with some good cars, and a couple of good raceways. You can also play the stunts on Xbox Live. The problem with that is, if you have 8 people in the room, you have to watch each person do their stunt individually before you can do yours. I played a game of Ring of Fire with 8 people. It probably took like an hour, because we had to watch everyone do their stunt, one by one before we could do ours. They didn't do it in a way that everyone's doing their stuff simultaneously, and you just like saw the best one, a la Burnout and their crash mode. So the stunt mode online you may just want to bypass and not do at all. At the end of the day, if you're one of those hardcore simulation racing fans, the fans of Forza, Gran Turismo, or Project Gotham Racing, you're probably not going to like this game and you should just completely avoid it altogether. But if you're one of those people that like the arcade of fun, the Demolition Derby racing games, FlatOut 2, definitely a game for you. It's only $40, so you don't have to make a huge commitment to go out and buy the game. If you feel like you need to rent it first, rent it, but chances are, if you're looking for a destructive racing game, FlatOut 2 is going to be the game for you.